Okay, welcome to the Biohacking Beauty Podcast. I'm Amitai Eshel.
And my name is Anastasia Khojaiva.
And every week we feature the latest and greatest in skin health and biohacking and make it approachable, apparently, according to reviews.
Yeah. We had an amazing conversation with Jess Kane, the founder of BodyBio. It's the brand I personally recommend and use, and Amitai uses as well. And we've gotten so many questions about supplements. We get them all the time. So today we really dove into skincare protocols by concern, and it was just like a really great convo. I think you're gonna
we talked a lot about our son, so stay tuned. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in, and welcome to Jess Kane.
Yes.
Welcome to the Biohacking Beauty Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Actually, I want to start. It's a little bit off this, but did you hear that Dr. Perricone, which is like
old school,
but good school. I mean, respect Dr. Perricone, huge like conventional kind of Sephora skincare brand.
Yeah.
He's going to write a book about phosphatidylcholine.
Really?
And that it is a longevity molecule. Yeah, I don't know when it's going to be out.
Stop.
But he told us that.
Yeah.
In confidence, he said, "Don't tell anyone." No, I'm kidding. He said,
I got to reach out to him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the best longevity molecule. I just think that it's not sexy, right? It's biology. It's like
it's
basic
too PC
biochemistry.
to be sexy. That's it.
It's what?
It's too PC to be sexy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think on that note, we can kind of talk a little bit about the fact that right now, a modern woman, it seems like she's doing everything. She's doing her regular facials, she got her red light therapy, and her skincare, and yet, she still battles like all of the signs of aging. Everyone does, right? Like she's still concerned about her skin being dry and having the lines, and you're coming from a different perspective. And like, do you think, is she missing anything from within? Could it be that, she's only doing the superficial approach and it can only get you so far, but
I think so.
That's not the answer?
I really think so. And I think in today's world, we're trying to do everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, for me personally, I try to do everything as natural as possible with active. Like I'm not I don't have to look at it from the perspective of like every single ingredient needs to be something natural. I'm not putting beef tallow on my face.
Yeah, good.
But I am
now
also
we can
not,
be friends.
Yeah, exactly, right? Now, I'm not doing, a ton of injectables and things like that. And I'm looking for the most natural approaches to aging. I want to age and look good. I don't want to look crazy. I just want to look healthy. And I think in today's world, we're doing all of these things, but we're not thinking enough about the actual building blocks of our skin and the scaffolding and what holds it together. And I think that we need to just start thinking about that more, because I think that the low-fat era of the 1980s is so pervasive and has stuck around for so long that we are eating less fat than ever. Well, probably not as little as we were in like the 1990s and the 2000s, but we still think that fat is olive oil and avocados, and that's not what makes up our skin.
Yeah. I think more than that. I mean, first of all, you're correct, and as human beings, as we say quite often here, human beings are really not well built to measure incremental change or to feel or to intuit incremental change. If it was so, as I often say, McDonald's would have been out of business.
Yeah.
And but it is also true to say that our body within 7 years is rebuilt anew every 7 years. Depends on the cell, but we're basically, whatever we're putting in is going to be part of the makeup of our cells, etc., as time goes on. So although we're used to thinking of, I'm going to wait until I'm fit in the blank to get plastic surgery. I'm going once every 3 months to do this laser. I'm going to do once a month this and that. The reality is that those micro decisions of, what am I supplementing on, whether it is with food or with supplements or whatever that is on a regular basis, these small inputs are the ones that are going to quite literally be our body within, whether it's skin cells, it's going to be a month, your mitochondria, it's going to be like, 2 weeks, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's reflective in our skin. Our skin is
100%,
our
yeah.
largest organ. So if you're taking care of your body from within, you're taking care of each of those cells. Those cells make up those various different organs, and your skin is your largest organ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you often say that, at least I hear you say that the cell membranes is the foundation of skin health.
I think
And
so.
can you like expand on that? Can you, address how it affects the skin barrier?
It's really
elasticity?
fascinating. So phospholipids and phosphatidylcholine is what makes up the bubble that protects each of our cells. There's in women 32 trillion cells. In men, they estimate it's about 40 trillion cells. Each of these cells has a barrier that protects the cell. The world, oxidative stress, toxins, all of these things break down that cell barrier and that cell bubble that's protecting the cell. So you're constantly making phospholipids and you're constantly losing phospholipids. I think we're probably losing them at a higher rate in today's world. We also tend to lose them as we get older. You have less ability to actually synthesize them from foods. So what's really interesting about the skin and the outer layer of the skin is phospholipids essentially act as like the cement between bricks. It's what holds everything together. And when you don't have enough of it, you're going to see it in your skin quality, in your skin tone, in texture, in skin laxity. And so it's just really critical. These bioactive lipids like phosphatidylcholine, omega-3, omega-6, these essential fatty acids for the fluidity and the balance in our skin.
Yeah. And actually, first of all, I want to say that I'm obsessed with your PC. Like, I'm obsessed. I have like a year worth of stock because I never want to run out.
There is someone that's even significantly more obsessed than you.
Yes, actually.
Significantly. I'm talking about
Actually,
like,
Ever
Your
since,
baby?
ever
amazing.
since I chatted with you
Yeah.
and you said that we can give it to our baby, like, 1 year old.
Yeah.
And we started giving to him at 1 year old and he loves it.
Yeah, my kids do.
He actually is calling it yum yum.
yeah, that is called yum yum. Yeah.
And he's asking for more. Like every time we give him like a half of
love
a teaspoon, he's actually asking for more.
I mean,
And
I
we're like,
literally pour it directly in my kids' mouths. They're like little birds. I said it's brain meddy time, and they all just go. And my youngest always asks for more. And I think that they know what they need. Of course, they're also going to ask for sugar.
Well,
when
if they
get
know
it,
what
but
they need, then he really needs watermelon. Like, that's probably.
cute.
Yeah, but it's so amazing to me, and I've been recommending it to my mom friends, and I don't want to brag. It's really hard not to brag, but our kids already at this age like speaks in 3 languages, and
Amazing.
sometimes we're at parties and people are like, "What's your secret?" I'm like, "We don't really have a secret, but we do give them just the one supplement, and this is what it is." So I already have a couple of mom friends.
I love it.
On it as well.
Yeah.
But so I'm personally obsessed, and I can see it on my skin. Sometimes if I travel, I don't take it with me. And anyway, travel tends to dehydrate our skin, and you don't look your best after traveling. But I can actually attest that when I take the PC, my skin looks plumpier and juicier.
Yeah,
And
I
so
agree.
I've said it on this podcast before. I've like shared it on Instagram. Like it's my non-negotiable. But you mentioned something about omega-6s and omega-3s. And I feel like there is so much misinformation and people are just like, they're only talking about omega-3s and they sometimes don't understand that there should be a specific ratio between the two.
Yeah.
So can you like educate us a little bit on that?
People assume that all of us are eating too many oxidized omega-6s,
Yeah.
and that's the whole seed oil debate. But the reality is our cell membrane needs a ratio of 4 parts 6 to 1 part 3.
Yeah.
So slamming fish oil is not the answer because that's the one part. That's the omega-3. And you don't need that much fish oil. Eating
Yeah.
fresh fish is a great way to get fish. Caviar is actually the best way to get whole, really
Yeah.
good quality fish. So that's
That's
always a good
already in
one.
a phospholipid form. and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the 6 debate is really interesting because a lot of people say, well, we eat too much processed foods. But if you are someone who is already health conscious and you are not eating processed foods every day, you're not eating McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, and you're not frying everything in canola oil in your home, you need unoxidized 6s. And they provide that bounce and that fluidity. The bounce that we get to our skin is part of the essential fatty acid matrix that works in conjunction with phospholipids in the bilipid layer. So there's cholesterol in there, and there's proteins, and there's the electron transport chains. There's all sorts of wonderful little things that happen on the cell membrane, but the majority of it is made up of essential fatty acids and phospholipids.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the approach you took with the balancing oil, right? Is that
Exactly.
the one?
Yeah.
Like
And so
the 4 to
this
1
is-
ratio, right?
Exactly. And this is from research. Actually, interestingly enough, it was many Israeli researchers in the 1980s who really determined that that was the ratio in the cell membrane. And so it has always been an organic, cold press, very carefully treated. We recommend people refrigerate it. But the one thing I constantly hear, because I'll often tell my friends, they'll say, I want to get started on BodyBio. What should I take? Start with foundational PC balanced oil butyrate. And within 1 month, they're writing to me going, why does my skin look so good?
Yeah.
Why do I feel more like refreshed?
So I want to, kind of go back to PC, which is the bottle's going to say PC because phosphatidylcholine is allowed to write on a bottle. So,
Yes.
Which tastes like walnuts. I don't know why. Why is it difficult? And this is a kind of within the zeitgeist of like health conscious people, especially people who have been health conscious for, I would say, over like 15 years. It is like a kind of the same way, like you talk about the weather, you're going to talk about the difficulty of getting good phosphatidylcholine. So why is it difficult to source good phosphatidylcholine? And where would from your experience, where would companies go wrong sourcing phosphatidylcholine?
It's an odd thing that was allowed in the history of soy production. And there's a great book called The History of American Lecithin. My grandfather had on his shelf. And essentially, they used a byproduct of soy production that produced about 20% phosphatidylcholine, and it's combined with essentially vegetable oil. So it's called triple lecithin. It's essentially lecithin is the byproduct. It's then packed with some oil, and that will, when you test it in a lab, it will show that it will yield about 30% phosphatidylcholine. The problem is that's not liposomal. And so most of the phosphatidylcholine on the market is just that product. When you go to a contract manufacturer and you say, hey, I just want some phosphatidylcholine, that's what they're going to provide you. It's essentially lecithin in oil. It's actually called technically triple lecithin packed in oil. And what happens when you consume that is it breaks down into triglycerides and choline. That's not going to provide the building blocks of the cell membrane. Choline's great, triglycerides not so much.
Yeah.
But it's not going to get through the digestive tract into the bloodstream for cellular delivery.
Especially not for the brain, right?
No, it's not going to cross the blood-brain barrier at all. So what my grandfather did in about 2002 is they were using IV PC in the 1990s when they first started BodyBio. And they were doing it based on blood testing that they were doing and doctors working with extremely challenging neurological issues and chronic illness cases. And he started to develop, it took about 4 years. One of the gentlemen who he made PC with originally is still at our company. He's one of the longest employees that's been there.
Wow.
And he's currently making butyrate. And they just tinkered around for years, just playing with how do we create a process that's going to yield a liposomal phosphatidylcholine, which is exactly what our product is. So the difference really with us versus other products on the market is we know ours is truly liposomal. We've done extensive testing to prove that. We actually can see how it's taken up into the cells. We did a massive study this year at the University of Connecticut with a mitochondrial research lab just to see how the liposome. So it's not about liposome size. It's not about any of these things. It's about how it's actually absorbed in the body.
Yeah.
And that was really exciting to see this year.
So for our listeners, if maybe they want to like look at the labels of their supplements, if it's not BodyBio, you won't know, right?
That's the
You
thing
just,
that sucks.
Yeah.
Just the same with liposomal supplements.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you look at a liposomal supplement, you're standing in Erewhon or wherever that has a bunch of them, and you look at 10 different companies, I would probably tell you 9 out of 10 are not liposomal.
Yeah.
They just put that triple lecithin ingredient in with glutathione, with vitamin C, with whatever, and you can call it liposomal according to the FDA.
Wow.
There's no regulation. There's nobody to
Yes.
test it to say this is,
Yeah.
this is actually effective.
It's what I say a lot about. So it's very extremely difficult to explain sourcing to anyone who is not. By the way, to anyone who's, even cosmetic chemists, like even people who are dermatologists, like if you're one step removed from touching the raw material, you might as well be the end consumer as far as like your level of understanding. And a lot of the times my way to hammer it in is saying, you know how there's a difference between your local butcher, his grass-fed beef, and sorry,
China.
McDonald's. I am so sorry, McDonald's, but like the meat at McDonald's.
Yep, I agree.
That obviously is not great. That's less of a discrepancy than between two identical ingredients that you can source for.
Agreed.
By the way, and normally you source like raw ingredients. You would source them and we would source them almost from the same, starting point manufacturers. Obviously, they're going to do.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to know. And I think if someone wanted to choose like their partner, or like their supplement partner in their life, the people who they kind of get supplements from, it's not like you should like the owner of the company, but you should understand how they make decisions.
Yeah,
and you
it's
should trust
true.
their decision making, because you won't be able to understand where they're sourcing their omega-3s and how, what is their decision making. I mean, my heart was broken recently where I realized that the omega-3s that I was taking for, until like 2 years ago, but for a very long time, decision making was horrible there. And anyway,
actually, like all of the guests that we bring to this podcast they all vetted by us. Like, and this podcast episode is not sponsored, and none that were here
it's
this
sponsored
year.
by Young Goose, who is us.
Yes. So, but it's true. Like whenever we take it very seriously that people trust our opinion,
Yeah.
and we get questions all the time from our listeners. Recommend this red light therapy device, supplement stack, everything, things for everything, hair and yada yada yada. And we only bring guests that we know, like they're founders of the companies, but we know that we can trust them. Like they would make good decisions, like Amitai said.
And I think it's the same for skincare. It's the same. It's anything you're putting on your body. It's in your body. And it's hard to make those decisions these days, right? Because so many companies have, maybe sold, and those decisions then are altered when a company sells.
So I'm not going to talk about the company, but we have a company that, I mean, the owners used to be, they're still our friends. And we were very vicariously involved in the trajectory of what happened at a company after it got sold, and it got sold to one of the biggest pharma companies in the world, a subsidiary of one of the biggest pharma companies in the world. We have many friends who are still employees of that company. And the only reason the company got bought out is because the parent company had ingredients where they basically was looking for a home for those ingredients. And they've literally did like, we call it in Hebrew, Red Riding Hood. I have no idea why, but they switched out the core actives of the same. The formula is called the same. It looks the same, but it's not the same.
Well, I think our missions are different than those companies. That's a large conglomerate that's looking at shareholder value. We don't have to do that. And I think it's tough, right? You look at companies that have raised capital and are expanding massively and what they're going to do. And I spent so much time listening to these podcasts about these companies just scaling so quickly when they bring on equity, and you're like, God, that's got to be great. I mean, it's stressful, but cool. I mean, an incredible experience, but they're also looking at the bottom line of every
It has to, like that's
thing.
how you scale massively. You cannot get a certain amount of money, aim to do 10x, but not cut costs. I think most people don't understand that there are two vectors of a company raising in value. One of them is definitely increasing the bottom line, but exactly a opposite and equal force is the force of reducing cost and redundancy.
And that's they're going to look at every single raw material. So if I picked
100%.
the best vitamin C out there, they might go in and say, we can get that cheaper and you can cut costs on this. And that's the difference.
You're saying exactly word for word what we talked about on the bonus episode that we released about companies being bought out. We talked about Rode getting acquired and some other companies, and why we at Young Goose don't have investors and we are not raising money for these exact reasons. Like, it's the same exact situation. Like, every ingredient that we use, we source, it's like pharmaceutical grade, and it's just the purest form, and it's expensive, and that results in a certain price points of our products.
Exactly.
But yeah, we've already had people that gave us advice, financial advice, where like, exactly, like, you can have it half cheaper and you can bring prices down, more people can experience your products, but it's not going to be the same product. It's not going to do the same. It's not going to be Young Goose anymore.
Exactly. And so that's what people often say. Well, your PC is $200 a bottle. It's meticulously made. There's 10 people that go through the process of just manufacturing it.
It's also a gigantic bottle. So.
It's the most ridiculous bottle. There's some aspects of the company that have just been kind of grandfathered down, literally from my grandfather, that, like, of course, I wish I could change the name, right? There's too much brand equity in the name now. But, if I was starting from scratch, I would do a lot of things very differently.
The starkest example I have for the same ingredient is ergothioneine. Ergothioneine, there are two companies that are the leaders of supplying it for skincare, because it needs to be kind of dialed in for skincare. One of them is in China, one of them is in France. The Chinese version costs $300. The French version costs $5,000.
Exactly.
So, I mean, let's take a second to talk about skincare during winter. Here's the part most people miss. Winter does not just dry your skin. It changes how your skin produces energy and repair itself.
When temperatures drop, transepidermal water loss spikes, mitochondrial output slows, and the barrier starts losing ground faster than it can recover.
This is why skin becomes reactive, inflamed, and unpredictable in winter, even if your routine worked perfectly all year.
Most people respond by adding a heavier moisturizer. That does not address the problem, so we built a system instead.
The winter skin protocol is how we protect the skin when repair capacity is compromised by cold, wind, and low humidity.
It is steered by metabolomic skin age, with clear guidance on when the priority should be protection versus repair, and how to adjust when travel, treatments, or environmental stress push the skin past its threshold.
Inside the protocol, you will find structured morning and evening routines, red and near-infrared light timing, and targeted strategies for the areas that break down first in winter, including the neck, chest, and hands.
If your skin becomes tight, red, or reactive every winter, this removes the guesswork.
If you want to go deeper, you can download the protocol and see the full system. The link is in the episode description. Your skin already knows winter is different.
Your routine should reflect that. Actually, in our intro, we would have already introduced you and everything, but you mentioned your grandfather quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think the way I see you, you're one of like inspirations to me.
Thank you.
Like, you're this girl boss, you're a mompreneur, and you're running this company with so much grace and with, and I am curious to hear, and for the listeners to hear, maybe how the company started, and then what did you do differently when you took it?
Yeah, it's
in your
day
hands.
and night.
Yeah.
The company was started in.
Well, if you switched them from working at night to working during the day,
can you
that would be huge.
Everybody works overnight. No. He was an entrepreneur. He had heavy metal toxicity. He owned a steel factory. So my family was in the steel industry for a long time. In the 1980s, he had to stop running marathons, was getting really sick. He refused to take that diagnosis. There's nothing you can do about it. And he went to the ends of America. I mean, I think he was in Oregon and Washington State and in California because there was no health and wellness in New Jersey. It was a very small group of people kind of starting the integrative and functional health movement. And a lot of the peers in that space are still around doing different things. But this is at the same time that Thorne was starting, and Metagenics and Zymogen and all these companies. and way before the days of like an IFM type of thing. So they started initially doing blood tests. You used to be able to walk into a LabCorp and get a BodyBio blood test. Same exact thing as Function Health is today. You used to be able to do that at
Yeah.
BodyBio. And it was $100 a month.
Wow.
Mind blowing.
And you could just walk in and get it. But they found that there were certain things that they were seeing consistently. At the same time, they were doing all this research and putting together with doctors, a group of kind of a consortium of doctors, this IV detoxification protocol. And he looked at it and he said, look, everybody needs this. The need is getting greater and greater because of this world that we live in. But it's inaccessible. It's drugs. A doctor needs to prescribe them, and then it needs to be done via IV. So it's a very, very complex grouping of drugs for detoxification. So he went on a journey just to start to figure out how to make them into pill form and into liquid pills, whatever they were, but in a supplement form. And so he developed those, and they were all pretty much developed by about 2006. Took a long time.
Yeah.
And now we have 3 different manufacturing facilities where we manufacture the different products. And the thing that they were doing really differently is they only sold to doctors. And so they would lecture about 50 doctors a year. They would host this small conference in New Jersey. They would have incredible, the leading voices in functional medicine, even Mark Hyman has been. And they would lecture these small groups of people. And then those doctors would take it to their practice and they would practice this detoxification protocol. And every single patient that walked into their office, they were putting on PC, they were putting on balance oil, they were putting on butyrate, they were using glutathione. It was the exact same thing as the detox protocol, but an IV form into a nutraceutical. And so when we came along, he recruited my husband after we got married. My husband really helped build Fiji Water in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And we were living in London. And he said, I need help. I want to do something with this business. I think he always used to say—
If you can sell water, you can.
Exactly. You can sell plastic bottled water. And he said, everybody else has the sizzle, we have the steak. And I just don't know what to do with it. And he thought you needed to turn it into a drug. He was convinced that we had to go down the IND, turn it into a drug route. And my husband got involved. I was heavily pregnant with our first baby. And we kind of sat with him and we said, Pop-Up, you don't have to do it this way. People are really taking their health into their own hands. We just have to really lead with education and lean in on the practitioners that already trust us to be those voices to help amplify and get the voice out there. It took years though.
Yeah.
It took years.
But this is really the golden age of, we're still in it, but the golden age of what we call consumer-facing medical technology, strategies, whatever that is, where many things aligned. Some of them are financial hardships, like, the 2008 crisis. Some of them are things like COVID more recently. But there were things that basically detached people from that central nervous system, central backbone of stringent medicine, where you have to go to one person. There's many bottlenecks for you to get a solution.
100%.
And people wanted to take, again, micro solutions home, to which if they can just adhere to the protocol, they can get results at home. So
exactly.
It's a beautiful example of this happening.
Yeah.
So we're talking a lot about kind of cell health forward type metrics, whether it is balance oil, whether it is PC, which both of them are heroes in our house. But you also, again, talk a lot about butyrate.
Yeah.
And butyrate is different because, I'll let you talk about it, but it is a different approach than, hey, body, here's that end molecule you're going to employ in every cellular process.
Yeah.
So I'll let you continue. How is butyrate different as far as like a modality than giving the end building block of a process?
Yeah, it was part of the original IV detox protocol. So the detox protocol was phosphatidylcholine. It was sodium phenylbutyrate. And I'll explain the role in the detox. Glutathione, leucovorin, which has become, very popular amongst autism communities, vitamin Bs. That was pretty much the detoxification protocol. The role that butyrate has that's really fascinating is twofold. From a detoxification perspective, it goes into the cell and it breaks down the bad stuff that's broken through the cell membrane and gone into your cell and embedded itself in your DNA. And it's changing our health trajectories. There's a reason that we have autism. There's a reason that we have neurological disorders. There's a reason children are getting colon cancer in their 20s.
Yeah.
These things they were not happening 50 years ago. They were not happening 100 years ago. So butyrate goes in and it shakes off that junk. PC and balance will go in to remove it from the body. That was the detox theory. From the functional perspective, butyrate's a fascinating molecule because none of us are eating enough fiber or resistant starch in today's world. And butyrate is a postbiotic. It's the end product of a perfectly balanced microbiome. You have the perfectly balanced food that you're feeding the microbiome. You have the right keystone strains of bacteria. And then sometimes they're going to produce butyrate. It's a highly inflammatory molecule, anti-inflammatory. It is.
I was like, maybe it's like the
highly inflammatory.
hormesis, you know, healthy inflammation. Okay.
No, that's omega-6. But it's a really, really important molecule, not only for the gut, but for cellular function and detoxification. So it's part of that whole gut-brain axis, gut, cell, skin. I mean, so much is housed in the gut.
I mean, quite frankly, it started the bubble, no pun intended, but started the bubble around postbiotics and the hope that they're going to kind of be the
Oh yeah, I started that.
solo.
I'm claiming that one.
Yeah?
For sure. Oh yeah, because when
mean-
I sat down with my grandfather, I would say, Pop, what is butyrate?
Yeah.
4 hours later, I didn't have an answer. And this is way before the time of ChatGPT, where you could take the whole recording, put it in there, and ask it some questions.
Yeah.
So we really had to distill, like, what is it? And how do we talk about it? And at the end of the day, they kept calling it a short chain fatty acid. I said, but short chain fatty acids are postbiotics. That's what it is. There's several different postbiotics, not many, but it is the keystone postbiotic that is most important for our immune function, our cellular function, our detoxification function, our gut health.
Yeah. That's, I think, taking it back to, I mean, Anastasia is the reason we do it, but one of the main modalities that we use for mitochondrial function is incorporating postbiotics in products that allow better utilization of oxygen or stimulate, mitochondrial function for that matter.
Yeah.
And that's how I came up with the term hyperbaric oxygen.
Oh, I love that product.
Yeah, that's so that basically.
I put it on before this. I
Yeah,
got off the
well,
plane and I
yeah.
put it on.
You look glowy. You look glowy.
So and to be frank, like we don't own. There's no patent to be owned there. You can do whatever you want with different like yeast, etc. to bypass patents that do exist.
Huh.
And it's just that I think other companies are just like not noticing that there is like something that like a wonderful modality that could be used for skin health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question about vitamin C.
Yeah.
Like I know that vitamin C for a while, it's like it's one of the OGs, in everyone's stack. A lot of people think about it just from immunity perspective, but for like an advanced user who is taking vitamin C specifically for skin improvement, sometimes they take vitamin C and they don't see improvement in collagen. What is happening if it's not, like if vitamin C is not absorbed effectively?
Same as glutathione, actually. So glutathione and vitamin C are not well absorbed in the body. And so you really want them in a liposomal form. And not to like sit here and plug my products, but I wouldn't take a Goo or trust other products. There's actually a great, I do love Live On Labs out of Las Vegas. I love the OG,
But the amount of
family-run
people who
business.
put them in
They
shakes,
make liposomal products.
but the amount of people who put them in shakes,
yeah.
blend them, and like break the liposomes is like I think probably 99 people out of 100.
Yeah. You're not, yeah. I mean, you have to be careful about how you take these things, but they're not well absorbed in the body. And so you do want them in that form to really get into the cells and to stimulate collagen production. I think when you don't take, look, I think all of these things, when you don't take enough of these building blocks for our skin, you will see effects in your skin if you're not taking it from within, because we're not getting enough from our food. We should, but we're not anymore.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
But you do raise an interesting point. What would you tell someone who would come to you, and I bet you actually hear that a lot, and say, I heard glutathione isn't absorbed orally. It's a waste of time. I don't even understand why you're selling this product, or however people phrase themselves when they talk to you. But that is something that we hear quite often. We specifically heard it when I was I had an immune protocol that I was doing, and your products were part of that immune protocol. So I've heard it personally. So what would you tell someone who says, glutathione, just why bother?
I mean, most isn't well
Yeah.
absorbed in the body. If you're buying it off Amazon, it's probably not. It needs to be in a liposomal form. It really does, in a truly liposomal form. So look out for things on labels. It will companies are getting smarter. So now they're putting, derived from phospholipids, derived from phosphatidylcholine. I would go so far as to call the company and say, hey, do you have any studies proving efficacy of your liposomes? This is stuff you're putting in your body. Take it seriously. Don't just pick it up at the supermarket.
Yeah.
And I think when you really do take it seriously, you notice the gains. This is not something you're going to notice right away. You start taking vitamin C in 2 weeks, you're not going to see perfect, collagen production, and your face is going to look plump. But when you invest in the right products, just like you do for topical skincare, and you invest in what you're putting in your body, you will see, I think after about a month, you see definite large gains.
Yeah, that's very encouraging, I
Yeah.
think. What do you think of the beauty supplement trend? There are like so many companies that they're like doing skincare, but then they're launching their beauty supplement. And how do you compare that to like cellular nutrition?
It's apples and oranges. It's totally different. I think when it comes to manufacturing, you can walk up to a contract manufacturer and you can say, hey, what do you have for skin? And they'll probably have a couple different blends that they've based off of Nutrafol or something else. And
Shout out to the
you just kind of select, tick off that box, provide them with a label. This is the type of container I want it to be in. They do all the quality control. They do all the sourcing. You can't swap out ingredients. You can't make changes. You don't know what those raw materials are. You just have that finished product. And so I think these blends are fine. I like that companies like Nutrafol are really doing like clinical studies behind their product to prove efficacy. But I think for the most part, when they pivot into supplements, I always just think like stay true to what your lane is. Stay true to what you are. Stay true to what the brand is really known for. Just like I wouldn't go making a phosphatidylcholine skin cream, although I think it's a great idea. I'd love for you guys to do it.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, no,
A little collaboration.
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely always get encouraged by our community to be like, please launch your red light therapy and launch your microneedling pen and launch makeup and launch shampoo and conditioner. And we're always like, I'm not going to say no ever, but it's no for now. Because right now we're like you say, we're focusing on what we're really great at and where we have the expertise and we can deliver just the best of the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's also fun to collaborate with friends and uplift each other. You do this and you're good at this.
100%.
I'm great at that, and she's great at that. And let's rise together instead of becoming competitors.
Agree.
So let's talk. First of all, that's why you see why she's the one that makes it work.
What's her title?
First of all, just put the word co and then put everything.
Yeah, there you go.
But let's talk about, you have the funny thing to say, but like any like online type like concierge medicine right now are going to tell you 200 years of collective experience, right? And it's basically, but you really you house 30 years of product experience, which is rare.
Yeah.
So from the vantage point of skin health, what have you seen work? How does a protocol look like? And I would even ask you to say, how does a basic protocol look like?
Yeah.
And then how can
advanced
people
one.
try and push the envelope and see if it works for them?
Yeah, I think so. I made it really easy this year because I had so many girlfriends who reached out to me to say my skin looks great. That I was driving one day and my best thoughts come when I'm driving by myself and I don't have the chaos of my kids in the car and I can just think for once. And I thought we should just put together a trio of products. So it's PC Balance Oil and liposomal vitamin C. That's your starting place.
Yeah.
Start there. Take it for 3 months. Look at your skin condition. Stop taking it. See if the skin continues like that because it won't.
Yeah.
It's the same effects as PC. People often say to me, I don't necessarily feel PC. Well, it's the same people that are they're not tuned in to what's going on in their body necessarily. And then they stop taking PC and a couple days later they have brain fog.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, it was the PC. I got to start taking PC again. And it's very similar with the Skin Cell Essentials Trio. So it's 3 products together, easiest place to start. You're getting those lipids into the body that are feeding the fat content, the healthy fats and the bioactive lipids that our skin needs. And then you're helping with the collagen synthesis that's bringing it all together from vitamin C. And typically, a lot of us don't have enough vitamin C in our bodies.
Yeah, 100%. How would you, so I'll give you an example. When I have injuries due to jujitsu, I don't want Jackson to hear, the producer, because I'm pushing him to jujitsu. So
No,
Jackson, I
Jackson
never
needs
get
to
injured, by the way.
I've
But
been trying to
needs
tell my
to
husband
hear
to do
it.
it. He's like, no.
hypothetically, when I get injured,
Is he also doing jiu-jitsu?
Our son is. The oldest one is,
okay. So, and of course, he never has injuries.
No,
Jackson.
not yet.
But how, so for example, when I do get hypothetically injured, I really ramp up my vitamin C. If it's a ligament related, I really ramp up my vitamin C intake. And I do it in a way where I take it multiple times a day. So there's
Yes,
less,
because
like,
it doesn't last in the body.
Yeah, there's less gut irritation. For me specifically, my gut doesn't like.
Do you take ours?
Yeah, but
Does it affect your gut?
in general, my gut would react to, let's say, more than 5%, more than 5 grams creatine, for example. Like my gut really doesn't like instability or irritants or things like that.
Interesting.
So I really take it like 4 or 5 times a day, for example, things like that. How would someone push the envelope in the example of
The
vitamin C?
biohacker who really wants to go for it.
Biohacker. If one is good, probably 1,000 is better.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There is no upper limit of toxicity. Look, you take too much PC or balance oil and you're going to have diarrhea. It's not the end of the world, but we're talking like 6 tablespoons a day. So I take 2 tablespoons of PC a day.
Me too.
2 tablespoons?
2 tablespoons.
Me too. You take one at least.
I take one. We talked about it on the podcast before. He has to run after me with supplements. I'm not very diligent, but I'm grateful. But he
Put
can
it by
catch
your
me like
vanity
once.
and like first thing in the morning, just kind of take
Yeah.
a little chug.
Yeah.
Glug.
Yeah.
No, well, listen, she has me.
Yeah.
To follow her
So-
with the spoon. Yeah.
And we have to hide the PC. Remember, that's
Yes,
Actually,
you gotta
because
hide
of
it.
our son, he's asking for more and more. We had
Yeah,
to
that's
like
true.
that.
Really cute.
That's the problem of like having it out for yourself to remind yourself, but then you know
Yeah.
to remind him. But sorry, we interrupted. You were saying
Same with balance oil. You can up it. I think it's great for, you never want to heat it. So balance oil, I'll make a salad dressing. So I'll do a little bit, a kind of dash of olive oil just for taste, and then the rest of it's balance oil.
and it
vinegar.
tastes fantastic.
he actually
It's
adds
very
it
mild.
to
Yeah, I
our
love it.
salads as well.
And I put it mashed potatoes, pour it on top. Kids' foods, pour it on top. Kids, I make them a chocolate milk every morning with a chocolate protein powder. We do balance oil, remineralize, E-Lite in the kids, for the kids, raw milk.
I love Elite.
I want to
I
get
was
to it.
actually share it. I'm so sorry. I was doing my skincare routine the other day, and we have to wait for our vampire exosomes. We have to wait for it to fully absorb, and we asked just to wait between 5 to 10 minutes. So it's fully absorbed. I usually wait like 3 because I can tell when it's absorbed or not. And I was like, well, I'm going to put my Elite in the water and I'm going to take it. Like in the meantime, I'm
Perfect.
just going to drink some water,
Good
do
time to
something
like
useful.
pause.
Yeah.
And just drink your minerals. That's
Yeah.
a great idea. I'm going to do that. I need that product.
It's this is the best product we've ever made. Anyway,
Oh, I'm excited.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. But so I do want to go one by one because I think.
Oh,
it's
and then wait,
yeah,
because we forgot.
exactly.
Like the
Lest we
upping the
forget.
dose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every 4 hours, you could do 2 to 4 capsules of vitamin C, up to 4,000 milligrams. And then the last one I would say that's really interesting.
I
well,
might push it to 10, by the way, but don't be me.
I don't know if you want to. For after injury for jiu-jitsu, you should try Resolvin, which is our fish oil. But it's phospholipid, it's caviar, it's herring roe, cold pressed.
Still.
So it has the SPMs in it, which are
Yeah.
incredible. Unbelievable studies that have been done on psoriasis and eczema using this. Now, I would not take it every single day. I'm not a fan of fish oil every day. That's why you take your balance oil every day. Couple times a week, add in fish oil, eat as much fresh fish as you can. If you are having a skin autoimmune condition, or if you are having joint pain, or if you're having muscle pain from, going too hard at jiu-jitsu, then you can up your Resolvin dose.
And you're saying you're not a fan of fish oil every day because of the anti-inflammatory effects of it?
Yes, after long-term effects, it will
Yeah.
start to act as a steroid.
Yeah.
But the other thing is it offsets the omega-6 and omega-3 ratio in the
Yeah.
cells. And you still need those omega-6s. So let's say you are really into health and wellness and you're super anti-seed oil. You're not even, the really crazy ones aren't even eating egg yolks because they're too high in linoleic acid.
Yeah.
We need linoleic
We
acid.
need egg yolks.
We need egg yolks. You need these. These are
Yeah.
superfoods for our mitochondria.
Yeah.
You need linoleic for the cardiolipin production within mitochondria. So I just like to have a good balance of those
Yeah.
6s and 3s, which is why I never say fish oil every day.
Interesting.
I have a question, and then we gotta get into the rapid fire.
But we're not done with the protocols at all. I have so
no,
much to go.
No. Okay, so go with
Let's
the
do
protocols.
no, I'll do it in the rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay. So one question I had, and we kind of always tend to ask this when we bring someone like an expert in their area. Are there any mistakes that someone can make when they're decided to take up like this challenge of, supplementing for skincare from within? And what are the common mistakes that you see people make?
If you're doing the higher dose, if your gallbladder and your bile function are not optimal, you can definitely get that nausea. Have you ever had that kind of nausea when you eat too much fat or eat eggs?
Yeah.
That's gallbladder stagnation. And so you need to make sure your bile flow is working, which is why if you have a history of gallstones, if you have a history of gallbladder issues, or your mother or father had their gallbladder removed, make sure you're doing some TUDCA or taking something like ox bile or TUDCA with your healthy fats like PC and balance oil so that you are getting the right amount of fat and that fat is actually getting absorbed through the liver and the gallbladder.
Would you
so
do
you
it-
can kind of get that.
Would you do TADCA together with, if you're taking PC and the balance oil anyway, would you?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah.
It's has such great neurological benefits as
Yeah.
well.
Okay, so I want to run through, we'll do it like a rapid fire, but I'm going to run through
Do it.
a few like maybe points of interest.
Great.
And, just people can read the back of labels. People could ask, ChatGPT the protocols if they really want to, but back of labels are great. Someone is interested in anti-aging. We said the top three are vitamin, liposomal vitamin C, PC, and balance oil, right?
Yes.
Okay.
For
What about
skin or for brain?
for skin?
Those three in the
Okay.
bundle. Easy.
What about if someone has, pigmentation, has issues with, things like, again, glow, pigmentation, things that are more pigment and oxidative stress related?
More vitamin C.
More vitamin C. What about the glutathione? Is
You
it
could
there?
also do glutathione. Yeah,
glutathione. Okay.
definitely.
What about if someone has acne?
You need the TUDCA for
TUDCA.
liver. You got to add in TUDCA. You probably want to up your PC.
Yeah, maybe vitamin C for just because it's.
I think it's important,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of hormonal acne in
Yeah.
particular is that liver is backed up. It's not processing the hormones correctly. Maybe you have a history of being on hormonal birth control, something like that is causing those issues. Get that liver moving, flowing. TUDCA is like your liver enzymes just immediately go down. It's incredible.
Okay. Pregnant or postpartum, and within the confines of skin support.
PC, balance oil, vitamin C, all safe. Postpartum, not during pregnancy. I think those are three super important supplements for pregnancy, mainly PC and balance oil. Postpartum, you're going to add in, when you're breastfeeding, do it once a week, some TUDCA. When you're done breastfeeding, you can do TUDCA for a month, get those livers, get the hormones detoxified from the liver properly.
Yeah.
Great
okay.
combo.
And then the last one is pre and post procedure. Let's say someone is, again, like, even though I poo-pooed it, it's still true that you should do, once every month your microneedling or whatever that is. If you had surgery, if you did this, that, or the other, you've introduced some injury and some assault to the skin. How would you support it? Kind of how would you prepare for it, and how would you support it afterwards?
So they're going to tell you to stop taking any type of fish oil, and that includes something like
Yeah.
balance oil, which is an omega-6 and 3. That's for blood thinning purposes.
Yeah.
You can continue to take PC. You can take vitamin C beforehand. And I would also take glutathione.
Yeah.
Afterwards, you're going to want to take high-dose PC, get back particularly if you were under anesthetics, you're going to want the benefits for your mitochondria. High-dose PC, balance oil, glutathione, 2 in the morning, 2 at night, vitamin C, and add in Resolven, that fish oil that we make, because that is super anti-inflammatory and has the naturally occurring specialized pro-resolving mediators. And those are what go into the source of the inflammation and just put the fire out. They're incredible.
And Resolvin for and that's the last one. And then, we're going to go to legit fire, not like pirate rapid fire questions. And Resolvin as a longevity strategy would you say once a week? Like how often would you say
Yeah,
that?
1 to 2 times a week. It depends
Okay.
on how often you're eating fish. You guys probably eat fish a decent amount here.
I
Depends on where
did
you
a
live.
wonderful pate.
I know. I was
today.
gonna say he just did a sardine pate the other day,
Oh.
and it was honestly amazing.
Love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Sardines,
Instagram.
anchovies, that type
Yeah,
of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Caviar when you can. Oysters.
Yeah.
They're all superfoods.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, you can go. It's fine.
Okay, I can
I'm
go
done
with the
here.
actual rapid fire questions. Okay. So these ones you answer like in a rapid manner, and
Okay.
those make great for like Instagram clips.
Okay.
Okay. Coffee first thing in the morning. Yes or no, and why?
No. Blood sugar regulation benefits.
Okay. The one wellness trend you think is completely misunderstood right now.
Sea moss. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. It
Just
sounds-
get your minerals from some minerals. Why are you eating the sea moss that is mostly grown in pools
Yeah.
and it's completely contaminated? I'm not a fan.
Okay, I love that you brought it up. We didn't talk about it in the podcast, so that's great. The supplement you won't travel without.
PC.
Okay. Yeah, I just mentioned that I traveled recently without it, so like I'll learn from you. Okay. Your current favorite daily skin ritual that has nothing to do with skincare. So no topicals.
Oh, I'm a skincare junkie. So my like wind down routine at night, this is not a rapid fire, but I could really go into this. I do like red light, so I am using the Therabody face mask. I'm trying to use it every day, but that's hard. I put my face in cold water in the morning, first thing in the morning. That's not skincare. What else? And the other thing I think that we overlook that's really important is circadian biology and getting your eyes exposed to sunlight, no
Yeah.
sunglasses, first thing in the morning. I think that's really important. And I also think sun for skin. I think
Yeah.
it's important for skin health.
To support
Okay.
what you're saying, one of the surprising ingredients that we see contribute to hair growth, and a lot of the times, by the way, these two are linked, hair growth and skin health, is melatonin, topical
There you go.
melatonin,
Exactly.
because it it basically kind of syncs your circadian rhythm. So people
Yeah.
putting it at night, it's cueing their hair follicle to basically go into repair or
That's
regeneration
interesting.
mode. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we got 3 more. One sign your cells are inflamed, even if your skin looks fine.
Any type of chronic illness, any type of, I hate to say this, but brain fog, fatigue,
Yeah.
headaches, all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. The biggest misconception people have about omega-3s.
Oh, that we're fish. Everybody thinks we're fish. Take omega-3s. It's super important. DHA is very important for our brain.
Yeah.
But the proper ratio in our cell membrane is 4 to 1, 4 parts
Yeah.
6, 1 part 3. And if you're not out there eating fried foods and a ton of canola oil, I would argue you are most likely completely deficient in omega-6.
Yeah. Wow, this major.
But the average American, I think they have a 1-to-6 ratio, right?
How did they do that testing?
That's a
And
good question.
who
yeah.
are they testing?
Yeah.
And also, are they doing plasma testing or are they looking at the red blood cell fatty acid analysis? Plasma testing, most tests out there right now are looking at blood plasma levels of what you have eaten in the last week. So
Yeah.
if you didn't eat any fish in the last week, your ratio is going to be completely skewed. So when you look at a red blood cell fatty acid analysis, it
That's a
actually
3
looks
month,
at the
right?
cell membrane. Oh, it's looking at years.
Yeah.
And it's looking at the overall structure and fluidity of the actual cell membrane. And that is where you really see omega-6 deficiency show up.
Okay, I have one last question.
Yeah.
Beauty from within. Is this the future of skincare, and will it replace the skincare?
No way. No way. I think it's a combination. And you need both. I think
Yeah.
we really need to start looking at both. You have to think really carefully about how we're nourishing our bodies, but also what we're putting on to take care of those things, particularly as we age. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a huge thing for me. You're looking in the mirror and you see everything. I'm 42 and I'm like, what am I, what's next? I'm doing all the lasers. I'm doing all of these things. I think topical skincare is part of it. I don't think you can abandon it at all.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was great.
Yeah.
Well, let's end up by saying, we talked a lot about your products. Obviously, we're junkies, so it's easy. How does someone, start their journey? Where is it best from your experience? Where do you get your products
Yeah.
in the shortest, kind of supply chain way? Because that is also something to consider, right? Like how fast from point of production to where it's, for example, in the balance oil example,
Yeah.
where it's in my fridge, right? What's the best way to order products?
From our website directly is
Yeah.
always best, bodybio.com. We ship internationally through bodybio.co.uk. We do sell on Amazon. So if you're a crazy person who needs your product the next day, you can get it on there. Just make sure the seller is BodyBio, because there are fake products and unauthorized resellers showing up all over the place.
Yeah.
And if you have any international listeners, iHerb. iHerb is a really great way to get things into other countries
Yeah.
that we don't, have the proper labels for or something like that. So that's
Yeah.
also very easy.
Yes. As the famous saying goes, the best compliment are fake stores on Amazon
Yeah.
and fake Chinese companies trademarking your brand in China.
Yeah, we have that happening. Do you
Yeah,
guys
of
have that
course, yeah.
happening?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Unbelievable.
The two best, by the way, compliments that I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
receive.
But on that note of international listeners, we recently looked at our statistics, and we have 55 other countries besides
Amazing.
US listening to us. So thank you guys. It's so
love that.
fun. And
Thank you,
also,
spasiba, namaste,
Yeah.
toda,
Yeah.
gracias,
Shukran,
grazie,
I think is one of them too.
shukran, teşekkür.
Yeah, teşekkür. I learned it today
Turkish.
because I got my hair done with the Turkish
yeah.
hairdresser. What did I want to say? So on that note, we also want to announce a little milestone that our podcast hit. We are officially #1 in beauty and fashion. Thank you guys so much.
And
We're
then what
so
did we
grateful.
do? We went away from there.
Yes, Amita is right. We also just switched the category to alternative health, where we're ranking 7, so which is also really fun to be in top 10. But we do need your continuous reviews. Those help so much. And we've been getting so many of them. And we have a little tradition where we read a review.
That I just love, the best tradition of all times.
Yeah, where we read the review and thank you for your review and send your product.
Oh,
So,
I love
yeah.
that.
So yeah, they get a free blue peptide spray.
Oh,
Yeah.
how nice.
I'm going to...
Do you want me to do it?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
your-
just going to
your phone
choose
is
a random
closer.
one. Is
yeah.
that how it goes?
Well, it's whatever you want. You can. Sometimes I do the most recent ones. Sometimes I actually, when I have time, I do read them all. But sometimes in the moment, like now, I go for just the one that
So I'll
caught
tell
my
you a
eye.
secret, okay? You can't if you just go to the thing, it's not going to give you the recent one. It's just going to give you like a
Top
popular
viewed
one
one?
or something. And I don't know about top viewed, but it's like
How is it popular?
I'm going to choose it by name. I'm going to go with, wow, that's a cool one. Aria in the Sky with Diamonds.
Oh.
Yeah. The conversational tone of this podcast makes the science of skincare easier to understand, even if you're newer to the idea of skin longevity. I've recommended it to several skincare newbie friends, and they love the more approachable tone. I love that the hosts don't always agree on every single thing. It creates a thought-provoking dialogue. Maybe that's what our son's like looking at us arguing. Is like, I love that the hosts... I appreciate the minimal small talk and the straight talk about which skincare trends may be nothing more than trends. This is the only skincare podcast I impatiently await every week.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's very nice of you. Aria in the Sky with Diamonds. So
Yes, you can either email service at thegoose.com and we'll send you your product, or you can DM us on Instagram. And thank you, Jess, for
that.
staying for this
that for
little
her.
moment.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
It was such lovely to chat with you, and I love your products.
I
and
love your product.
yes.
What
So
you do.
what about the review on the Apple
I'll
Podcast?
leave you
No,
a
I'm kidding.
review. I use the whole hyperpigmentation kit, but now I need some new products. I need the vampire.
You're gonna. I'm telling you, the vampire exosomes. You know, here's the thing. I love recommending the blue peptide spray because it's affordable. Everyone can afford it. However, you know, and I love that product. It's an amazing product. However, the vampire exosomes is by
Next
far
level.
what gave me the best results. It's like so nice
Yeah.
to recommend it. Anyway,
Love it.
Jess, we've been to summarize it. We've been using your products for the longest time.
Thank you.
Way before we knew you.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We believe in what you are doing, and we so grateful to know you personally and have you on here.
Thank you. Same to you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.